decision as to whether someone is going to be allowed to be monitored through an ankle bracelet or through whatever means or technological versus incarceration?
So we do not have access, direct access through our computer system of the comings and goings of a person that has an ankle monitor. We oftentimes ask for no bail or no bond for certain individuals that we see as dangerous. As you know, we ask for extremely high bonds for people who hurt people. Unfortunately, judges sometimes believe that the rule or the takeaway from the Book of Solomon is that people want half of a baby. No one wants half of a baby. The role of Song of Solomon was who cares about the baby most. And so when a judge finds a bond that is halfway in between what we ask for and halfway what the public defenders ask for or private defense bar asks for, we don't think that's prudent. And we oftentimes don't think it's wise. We want it to be high because we don't want the person to get out. But if in fact a judge does find that middle ground, which we object to on the record, we ask that there be ankle monitoring so we can know that this person is following the orders that the court made, whether it be you are allowed to go to work and home or school and home. But I think it's really important that we make sure that once a court or a judge puts someone on an ankle monitor, that someone is actually monitoring that individual. We've seen in the city, we've seen in this state, we've seen in this country that oftentimes there is an ankle monitor, but there is no one in real time who is watching the comings and goings of that person. And I would encourage this council to make sure that in every setting, in every situation, we actually just, we're in the process of sending a letter to the judges and criminal court and juvenile court, asking them to make sure that there is real-time monitoring. And if it's not being monitored by the courts, that someone is providing every day reports about when someone is in violation or outside of where they're allowed to go within that electronic monitor. And I thank you for asking that question.
It's an important question because I think the public has seen certain articles that suggest that no one is watching on ankle monitoring. They don't know where they are. And then why would anybody try to increase the number of people on ankle monitoring if there's nobody watching it now?
Absolutely. I mean, I guess it goes to like lawyers, you got good and bad lawyers. Like plumbers, you got good and bad plumbers. You have good and bad electric monitoring companies. Some companies do the whole thing. The whole thing has to include actual monitoring. And if they're not doing it, if they can't prove that they are, and they're not providing those updates to the court, we would like to get them ourselves. But if they're not doing it, then the contracts with those companies should be ceased immediately so the public can have confidence that when someone is assigned an electronic monitor, someone is watching their comings and goings.
What would you be able to do differently? You said you would like to get them yourself.
Well, I'll tell you this, if there's a stay away order, or if a judge has said someone has a right to go to school and home or work and home, or someone is not supposed to be in the vicinity of their intimate partner because they have hurt that person, when they go where they're not supposed to be, we want to find out that day, within that hour, so that we can raise that red flag with that judge so that person goes right back to jail because they're in violation of their terms of release. There should not be any second chance. There should not be a third chance because the monitor was the second chance. And if the person was put on a monitor and then went right back out and violated that, they should go right to jail because they have said they are not willing to abide by the terms and conditions of release.
But why is that so hard, Mr. District Attorney? Why is that not being done by the companies that are employed by the various aspects of the criminal justice system to get that done? You said that if you think, and it's all right to say it, you think that if you were doing it, the district attorney could do a better job.
No,
no,
that's
not what you said. I thought you said you would. No, wait, okay.
We do not want to
just no. And wait, just for the record, I want to understand what you said. You would not mind having it. Is that what you said?
We would like to get reports.
When someone, okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
When someone violates the terms of their electronic monitoring.
And so why is that? Then that's the question that I'll ask. Why are you not getting those reports?
I don't believe that the judges are even getting these reports. I think that there are some electronic monitors that are simply not being monitored. I know that there's one company, TSAP, I believe is the name of it. They are pretty diligent about monitoring and provide reports when someone is in violation. There are other companies that are not as diligent about giving real-time reports to judges. That's important. That should be happening daily. If an electronic monitoring company is not providing at least Monday through Friday reports of whether or not someone is in compliance with the terms and conditions of their electronic monitor, then that contract should be ceased because it's serving no value. And so we don't want to run electronic monitoring. We've got more than enough on our plate.
Right.
But we do believe that if someone is out on bond because a judge has allowed a bond to be reduced and they have put a condition of release for electronic monitoring, we should be made aware when that person violates that.
How can we as a city council help? Should we be asking for investigations to determine whether or not those reports are being turned over per contract? Should we ask the inspector general? Should we conduct our own investigation? Because that's a serious flaw in the system. I mean, when we read about people who are out and nobody knew that they were out until the crime was committed.
Well, I absolutely agree. I think probably to steal a line from the budget chair, yes, and all of the above, right? Inspector General certainly could lay out a very detailed report about who's doing it well and who's not doing it well. Problem with that is it'll take some time. And during that time, there's going to be people violating stay away orders. I think maybe a measure or vehicle or a piece of legislation or a statement from the council demanding that if there's going to be a contract with an electronic monitoring company, that contract include real-time monitoring reports being turned over to judges so they could act upon them, or being turned over to the state so that we can go to the court and say, Joe Blow was not supposed to be in close proximity to the person he paralyzed and that you allowed to get out on bond. We believe he should be sent right back to jail because he violated your terms and conditions, Judge.
So I have no reason to have read all of those contracts for obvious reasons, but you're suggesting that you would think that there are contracts that have been written that don't include the information requesting real-time monitoring. What would be the purpose?
Well, you know, I was not a party to those contracts. Either it's in the contract and someone is in breach of contract, or it's not in the contract, because we all know there are instances in which we have seen individuals who have a piece of equipment on their ankle that is supposed to tell the judges and tell the state where this person is coming and going every day, but it is just simply not being reported.
I'm going to ask fellow council members to indulge with me, but I'm going to ask at the next criminal justice committee meeting that we take a look at that and maybe call for an investigation, because that's a very serious problem when you have hundreds of people who are on ankle monitors and you don't know where they are.
I completely concur. And look, it works both ways. If somebody says that you committed another crime, but the monitor has you at work,
right? It could all,
right? It works both ways. It's just good evidence.
Right. Could you talk to the public about the